afternoon, class. This is Dr. Ijoma Paulette Ezuruike from the Department of English and Literary Studies. This is a continuation of the GSP 1201-2201 Use of English, Module 2, Basic Grammar. This is the second lecture, a continuation of the word classes. The next word class is the preposition. A preposition is a word used with a noun or pronoun to show their relationship with some other words in a sentence. A preposition, together with a noun or pronoun, which is its object, form what is called a prepositional phrase. For example, Abdul gave the book to Mariam. To Mariam is a prepositional phrase, where to is a preposition and Mariam is a noun. Mariam cooked some food for Abdul. For Abdul is a preposition phrase. We have for as a preposition and Abdul as a noun, where the two form a unit known as a preposition phrase. Other prepositions are words like in, under, out, with, up, off, down. We also have prepositions in phrase forms, apart from, as far as, on top of. The next word class is the conjunctions. A conjunction is a word whose only function is to link words, phrases, clauses, and sentences. There are three types of conjunctions, namely coordinating conjunction, subordinating conjunction, and correlative conjunction. A coordinating conjunction links elements that are of equal status. By equal status, we mean they are of equal grammatical status. That means a coordinating conjunction will join a word to a word, a noun to a noun, a phrase to a phrase, a clause to a clause. In other words, they link equivalent grammatical structures. For example, we have words like and, but, or, so. And serves to add an item to another item. Example, Musa and Isa are dancing. But serves to provide a contrast. He invited her, but she refused. Or serves to provide an alternative. She either passes or fails this exam. So serves to lead to consequences. Mustafa is tired, so he went straight to bed. We have the subordinating conjunctions. Subordinating conjunctions are words that connect subordinate clauses to main clauses. They include if, since, because, as, unless, before, while, though. For example, I have been here since 4 o'clock. We are going to write a test before they come. I bought a new car because I needed it. We can see that words like since, before, and because join the clauses to the main clauses. Correlative conjunctions. Correlative conjunctions are pairs of words used as conjunctions. When correlatives are used, the two items involved should immediately succeed the correlatives. They are not only but also. For example, she is not only a brilliant student but also a talented student. Neither nor. either or, not but, both and, such as. For example, you either leave this class or keep quiet. He is neither a male nor a female. Interjection is the last of the word classes. An interjection is an exclamation. Interjection expresses a feeling of surprise, pain, fear, anger, joy, agreement, admiration, warning, and/or disagreement. Examples: "Ah, I'm sorry." "Certainly." "Nonsense." "I can't believe it." "Good God of mercy." We have come to the end of the word classes, the 8 word classes. Our focus on this segment is the sentence as well as the structure and functions of the sentences. Before we move forward to discuss the concept of sentence, it is good we follow and explain the hierarchical order of elements in English. In terms of grammatical rank, a word is the least element followed by a phrase, then a clause, followed by a sentence as the largest sentence element. This simply implies that a sentence can be divided into clauses, a clause can be divided into phrases, and a phrase can be broken down into words. Remember, our previous discussion centered on words. As such, we will briefly explain a phrase and a clause before moving on to the structures and functions of sentences in English. First, we look at the phrase. A phrase is a structure below a sentence. A phrase refers to a group of related words which does not convey a complete meaning because it has no subject and a finite verb. For example, a noisy class, a conducive atmosphere for learning, a good idea, behind the door. We can identify types of phrases: 1, based on structure, 2, based on function. First, we are looking at the types of phrases based on structure. First, we have the noun phrase. We have the verb phrase or the predicate. And 3, we have the preposition phrase. A noun phrase is a group of words which function as a noun. Now remember, we discussed the noun and the functions of noun. So a noun phrase is a word which can function, or a group of words which can function as a noun. For example, the man, the strong man, the children in the class. These are noun phrases. Now we can see that the noun phrase consists of a determiner and a noun, or a determiner and an adjective as a noun, or a determiner and any other modifier and the noun. We have the verb phrase or the verbal phrase, which is also known as the predicate. The predicate is the part of a sentence when we remove the subject. And that means the predicate starts from where the verb is. This shows that within the verb phrase, we have the verb or the verb and the modifier, which is most likely an adverb. We can have any of the word classes within the verb phrase. For example, cooks, very well. Where cooks is the verb, very well is the adverb and adverb of degree. Mariam cooks very well. Mariam is the subject and the remaining part of the sentence is the verb phrase. The third type of phrase based on structure is the prepositional phrase. The prepositional phrase has the preposition and the noun phrase, the preposition and the noun, or the preposition and the pronoun. For example, on the shelf, for Mariam, in the bush. We see that on, for, in are prepositions, while the words they precede are noun and noun phrases. Types of phrase based on function. Here we have 4 types of phrases. The noun phrase, which we have discussed earlier. In terms of structure, it is a type of phrase, and in terms of function, it is also a noun phrase because it functions as a noun. We have the verb phrase or the predicate. The verb phrase also functions as the verb or functions as the predicate. Here we have 2 different phrases which we didn't mention earlier. Now these are actually function rather than structure phrases. We have the adjectival phrase and the adverbial phrase. The preposition phrase is a phrase structure which functions either as an adjective or an adverb based on usage. So we see that a preposition phrase which we identified as a type of phrase based on structure can function in 2 ways. It can function as an adjective or as an adverb. An example is stated here. He ate the apple in the garden. He ate the apple in the garden. This sentence has 2 meanings based on the preposition phrase we have here. The first one, he ate the apple in the garden, is an adverb which tells us where he ate an apple. That means he could have brought the apple from the house or from the market and he sat in the garden to eat the apple. So we have in the garden as an adverbial of place. Secondly, in the garden can be a modifier of the noun the apple, whereby in the sentence he ate the apple tells us which apple he ate. That means he ate the apple in the garden and not the one on the shelf. So based on use, a preposition phrase can function as an adjective or an adverb. The clause. A clause is a group of words containing a subject, a verb, a modifier, and in certain instances, an object. For example, Mary is here while he was driving, although we came late. These are instances of a clause. A clause is broadly divided into 2. We have an independent clause, which is also called the main clause. An independent clause expresses a complete thought or idea. We have a dependent clause. A dependent clause, which is also called a subordinate clause, depends on the main clause in a complex sentence, and they complete the meaning of the complex sentence. Example, independent clause, we have some students are waiting outside. This is an independent clause, the meaning is complete. In a dependent clause, we have, although we came late, the program has not commenced. Although we came late, the program has not commenced. Now we have the subordinate clause, although we came late. We see that this structure does not give a complete meaning, but we have a subject, which is we have a verb, which is came, and it is actually a finite verb. Whereas it is joined to the main clause using although, where the main clause is the program has not started. We can have other examples. Hafsat came to see Abdul before the flight took off. When the bus broke down, we were all worried. Sentence structure and function. A sentence is a group of words with a subject and a finite verb which conveys a complete meaning. A sentence should start with a capital letter and ends with one of the terminal punctuation marks, which are either full stop, an exclamation mark, or a question mark. For example, Mary has traveled to Benin. No, Mary has not traveled to Benin. How much is this trousers? For a group of words to be a sentence, it should pass the following criteria. 1, it should convey a complete thought. Words should be arranged in an appropriate grammatical pattern. It should begin with a capital letter and end with an appropriate punctuation mark. Sentences could be classified according to their structure, so we can identify types of sentences. So based on the function or structure, we have different types of sentences. First, we are looking at the sentence types according to the structure. We have the simple sentence, we have the compound sentence, we have the complex sentence, we have the compound complex sentence. The simple sentence is a sentence which is mostly an independent clause with a subject and a finite verb. For example, Omar is sleeping. How old is the university? On the other hand, a compound sentence has two or more independent clauses connected by a coordinating conjunction, such as the use of and or but. For example, Aliyu had this explosion and he called the police. Aliyu had the explosion and he called the police. Here we have two independent clauses. One is Aliyu had the explosion. 2 is he called the police. Now linking these two with a coordinating conjunction and we have a compound sentence, Aliyu had the explosion and he called the police. The third type of sentence is a complex sentence. A complex sentence contains one independent clause with one or more dependent clauses, duly connected with appropriate conjunctions. For example, although it was fine, we decided to stay at home. Although it was fine, we decided to stay at home. Ahmed was extremely happy because he passed all the papers. Even though the nation's economy has improved, most people are still complaining. We have the fourth, which is the compound complex sentence. A compound complex sentence contains two or more independent clauses plus one or more dependent clauses. For example, John is a serious student. He always goes to the library to read, but he still fails most of his exams because of his overconfidence. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 clauses. John is a serious student. He always goes to the library to read, but he still fails most of his exams because of his overconfidence. So we see that here the 4 clauses are joined as with coordinating conjunctions and with subordinating conjunctions, and that made it a compound complex sentence. We also classify sentences into 6 types according to functions, and these are declarative sentences, interrogative sentences, exclamatory sentences, wish, command, and request. Declarative sentence is a statement which affirms or denies an idea. For example, Nigeria is the richest country in Nigeria. Interrogative sentence is the type that asks questions and ends with a question mark. For example, are you aware that the economy has improved? We have the exclamatory sentence, which shows a sudden feeling or emotion. As such, it ends with the exclamation mark. For example, oh yes, what a nice idea. Wish or desire is another type of sentence based on function. This is sometimes called optative sentence. It expresses a wish or a hope of something happening soon. For example, I wish you best of luck in your forthcoming exams. I hope to be a graduate in the next couple of months. Command. This type of sentence is used to give an order or command. The subject in this sentence is often ellipted. That means the subjects are often not mentioned. The sentence ends with an exclamation mark. For example, move out of this place. Close that door. Request is the 6th of the sentence types. This sentence type lies in the interface between a command and a wish. The language used is mostly polite, and the sentence ends with a question mark. For example, could you please shut the door? May I go out to see a friend? The tenses. Tense is a term in grammar which indicates the time of an action or event. On the other hand, tense is one of the grammatical features of a verb that shows the time and continuance or completion of an action or state expressed by the verb. Universally, tense is divided into 3: present, past, and the future. The present tense. The present tense generally deals with actions that are either existing or being considered now. The present tense has the idea of the currency associated with it. This category of the tense is divided into 4 as follows. The present simple tense. This tense can be used in various situations. It is formed by using the base form of the verb. To express action. They are also used to express a repeated or habitual actions. They are used to express a general action that is true, was true, or is likely to be true in the future, such as scientific principles. The present continuous tense. This is used to express an action in progress at the time of speaking. It is formed by using am, is, are plus the ing form of the verb. For example, I am lecturing now. The present perfect tense is used to describe an action that is completed in the past whose effect continues till the present. There are two situations in which the present perfect tense is used. One, it is formed by using has and have plus the participle form of the verb. They are used to express an action just completed. Example, they have arrived. The present perfect tense is also used to express an action that is completed in the past whose effect continues up to the present. Example, I have known Alex for 10 years. The present perfect continuous tense. This is used to show an action which started in the past but continues up to the present time. It is formed by using has been, have been, plus the ing form of the verb. For example, we have been receiving lectures for the past 2 weeks. She has been reading her book. It has been raining heavily. The past tense. This tense expresses an action that is completed in the past. We normally use past tense when narrating a story. This is also divided into 4 as follows. The past simple. This is the commonest of all the tenses. The past simple tense is generally used to describe events, habitual activities, and states in the past. It consists of only one verb. It is formed by using the past form of the verb. Example, we use it for action completed at the point in time in the past. Example, she sat for SSCE last year. It's also used for habitual activities in the past. Example, they went to church every Sunday. It is also used to express a state in the past. Musa became rich later. The past continuous. This tense is used to express an action in progress or incomplete in the past. It is formed by using was or were plus ing form of the verb. I was eating when my sister called me. I was praying in the mosque. The past perfect. This tense shows an action that had completed earlier in the past before another action began. It is formed by using had plus past participle form of the verb. For example, I had finished lecture before she arrived. The train had left the station when she came. The past perfect continuous. This tense shows or expresses an action that had been taking place up to when another action began. It is formed by using had been plus ing form of the verb. Example, she had been keeping the money. Students had been cheating in exams since before independence. So we can see the difference between the past perfect and the past perfect continuous, where in the past perfect we use had plus the past participle of the verb, and in past perfect continuous we use had plus been plus the progressive form of the verb, which is the ing form. The future tense. The future tense expresses events or actions that have not yet happened but will happen at some point in the future. There are 4 forms of the future tense. We can see them as follows. We have the simple future. This shows an action that will take place in the future. It is formed by using will or shall plus the base form of the verb. Example, she will like it. The super eagle will play tomorrow. Future continuous shows an action that will be in progress in future. It is formed by using will be or shall be plus the ing form of the verb. Example, I will be driving home. I will be coming next week. The future perfect. This tense shows an action that will be completed in the future. This is formed by using will have or shall have plus past participle form of the verb. For example, we shall have completed this course by the end of November. Boys will have eaten by night. She will have gone home by noon. Future perfect continuous. This tense shows an action that will have been in progress in the future. It is formed by using will have been or shall have been plus the ing form of the verb. For example, Adamu will have been eating his lunch by this time tomorrow. Students will have been going home by 6 o'clock tomorrow. We have come to the end of the second part of the second module. Thank you for listening, and click to enjoy the third lecture of this second module, Basic Grammar. Thank you.